So what if I told you that the secret to getting your content seen by AI right now, was actually invented by accident way back in 1971? It sounds crazy, I know. But we're going to dive into this because the entire blueprint for the future of AI content was basically written in a single email over 50 years ago.
This right here, this is the whole game. It really gets to the heart of the matter. When you're dealing with artificial intelligence, it's not just about what you say. It's about how you say it, how you structure it so a machine can actually make sense of it. Because without that structure, your most brilliant ideas, they might as well be invisible.
And that's what's so wild about this story. It doesn't start with some super complex algorithm or a bunch of data scientists in a lab. Nope. It starts with a simple, everyday problem that needed a really simple, elegant solution. A solution that, well, ended up changing pretty much everything.
Okay, so let's hop in the time machine. We're going back, way back. We're heading to Cambridge, Massachusetts, to find out the secret origin story of a symbol you probably type a dozen times a day without even thinking about it.
The year is 1971. A programmer, a guy named Ray Tomlinson, is working on something called ARPANET, which is basically the grandfather of the internet we use today. And he is staring down a totally new kind of problem in a totally new digital world. Now, to us, that sounds ridiculously simple, right? But you got to remember, back then, this was a huge, huge challenge. The problem wasn't about what to write in the message, it was about the delivery. How do you tell the network where to send this thing? How do you even give a piece of digital information an address?
And this, right here, this is Tomlinson's stroke of genius. He looks at his keyboard and he picks this really obscure symbol, the @ sign. You know, the @ sign? He used it to separate the user's name from the name of their computer, the host. And just like that, he created a simple, consistent, machine-readable structure. It told the machine exactly who the message was for and where they were at.
You know what the first email said? Something totally random, like QWERTYUIOP. Tomlinson just sent it to himself as a test. The content didn't matter at all. What mattered was that it worked. It got there. See, the success of email wasn't because the messages were amazing. It was because the format was deliverable. The structure is what made it all possible.
All right, so let's fast forward to today, because we are facing the exact same problem that Ray Tomlinson did, only our delivery problem is with AI. We're all creating this great content, trying to send our message to these new answer engines. But guess what? A lot of it, it's just getting lost.
And here's why. There's this fundamental disconnect. We as humans write for other humans. We use storytelling, we use persuasion, we use context. But in AI, it doesn't read like we do, it parses. It just scans for structure, for facts it can pull out, for direct answers. It's looking for the modern version of that user-at-host form.
And there it is. That's the light bulb moment. If your content is just this one big, beautiful, flowing story with no clear structural signposts, an AI system has no idea what to do with it. It can't parse the key info. Your message is effectively an email with no address. It's lost in the mail, undeliverable.
So, if that's the problem, what's the fix? Well, just like Tomlinson created a structure for email, we now have a whole new discipline for structuring content for AI, and it's called Answer Engine Optimization, or AEO for short.
AEO is all about making your content completely machine-readable. It is the craft of engineering your information so that AI systems, like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, all of them, can easily understand what you're saying, trust that it's credible, and, this is the most important part, cite you as the source. Now listen, it is so important not to confuse this with old-school SEO. Search engine optimization was all about getting clicks. The goal was to rank #1 on a Google page to get someone to visit your website. The goal of AEO? Totally different. It's about becoming the direct source for an AI's answer. It's not about getting a click, it's about getting a citation.
Okay, so how do we actually do this stuff? It really comes down to a framework called the AEO Addressability Stack. The easiest way to think about it is like 4 layers that you build, one on top of the other, to make your content perfectly structured for an AI to read and use.
So these are the 4 layers, and they build on each other. You start with a solid machine-readable foundation. Then you add a clear navigation system on top of that. Then you fill it with really high-quality, snackable content. And finally, you add a system that tells the AI exactly who to give credit to. Let's break them down really quick.
First up, you've got the schema foundation. Now this is basically code, metadata, that you add to your page that an AI can read.
It tells the AI what your content is before it even reads a single word of it. It's like saying, hey AI, this page is a how-to guide, or this part here is a definition. It is the digital @ symbol. It's the fundamental address.
Second, we've got the structural hierarchy. You got to remember, AI scans. It doesn't read a novel from start to finish. So using super clear question-based headers like what is AO or how does AO work, that acts like a roadmap. It gives the AI these direct paths to find the answers it's looking for.
Layer 3 is all about definition quality, and this is so important. It means you need to write your definitions and your key ideas so clearly that an AI could literally just lift them word for word out of your article, drop them into an answer, and they would still make perfect sense all by themselves. That's what makes your content citable.
And finally, you have to build an attribution architecture. This is how you actually get the credit for your work. By doing things like using author schema and creating your own uniquely named frameworks, just like the AEO Addressability Stack. You're not just telling the AI what the answer is, you're telling it who the answer came from.
Okay, that's the theory. That's the big picture. Now, let's make this super practical. Let's turn all this into a simple, actionable checklist you can use to start making your own content deliverable to AI like today. Here are 4 things you can do right now. 1. Start adding schema markup to your content. 2. Go through your articles and restructure your headers. Make them specific. Make them question-based. 3. Find your most important concepts and write really tight, self-contained definitions for them. And 4. If you have unique processes or ideas, give them a name.
Look, if you take away only one thing from all of this, let it be this question. This is your new quality control test. Read your key definitions and ask yourself, could an AI cite this word for word and have it make sense out of context? If the answer is no, you've got some rewriting to do. If the answer is yes, you are well on your way.
And that brings us right back to where we started. In this new world we're in, this AI-driven world, structure is the address. So I want you to go look at your own work and ask yourself that tough question. Is it actually structured to be delivered, parsed, and cited? Or is it just another brilliant idea that's going to end up lost in the mail?